today's the day. Today's the day I'm going to give you a tour and show you the finished product of my cleaned up eBay warehouse. If you don't know me, my name is Mel. I'm a full-time eBay reseller and I sell books. And for the last, probably my entire eBay career, I have struggled with unlisted inventory piles. I'm one of these people, I get big loads of big hauls of books and I don't process things straight away. So what happens is I buy a whole lot of books, thousands of books sometimes, and I bring them in and I sit them here in piles, or they stay in boxes and they don't get sorted. They don't get dealt with. They don't get processed straight away. So in turn, over the last couple of years, what that has meant is that my warehouse had become full of corners and piles and boxes and areas that were hidden from your eye where I had boxes of unlisted inventory. And I had pallet loads of it in this warehouse a few months ago of books that were packed in boxes that hadn't been dealt with. And when I went to America, I met with Technsports, who gave me a mentoring session and basically told me that I had a virus going on in my store. I had this virus that was taking over and it was overwhelming me. And the only way to get rid of this virus was to do the punishment hours. and the punishment means doing the work, basically. Like, you've got all this work that needs to be done that you haven't done. And now it's piled up to the point where it's so overwhelming for you. What it's actually doing is it's impacting you on making more money. Because instead of doing the things that are productive, that are actually going to make me money, I'm so busy in my warehouse all the time tripping over my inventory or trying to reorganize something or try and, cherry pick from boxes instead of just listing box after box. I needed to come in here and I needed to do those punishment hours. And I know punishment can sound like a negative term, but it's really just it's a way of shifting your mindset to being like, okay, you've made this mess. Don't beat yourself up about it. Be like, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to get the same results. And if you want to change your business and increase your income and run a proper eBay business that you're in control of, the first thing you do is you have to clean up. So there's lots of processes that I need to do to be able to grow my income. If you didn't know, I'm coming out of a divorce where I was a secondary income earner in that partnership. And now I am, on my own as a woman, and I need to be financially independent. So my income has to change from this secondary income. It has to grow now to a full-time income. And I'm going to share that journey with you because it's not an easy task. And I don't want reselling to appear to be easy because it's not. It's hard. And if you need to grow your income suddenly, like mine is like quite suddenly, you go from having 2 incomes one day to the next day having just your income, and it's not enough, and it's hard. It's really, really hard, and it's stressful. And you guys know what it's like when you really need money. It's really stressful. Like you kind of get into this desperation mode of what am I going to do to make that money fast? But at the end of the day, like, this is not a get rich quick scheme of a business. eBay is not get rich, get quick. Get rich, get quick, you know what I mean. That is not the eBay game. Like, you have to be patient with eBay. This is a long game. It's a roller coaster. Like, some days are up, some days are low. You got to be able to ride it out, and it's hard. Cleaning up the warehouse was step 1, right? There's many, many, many steps now for me to actually grow my income much higher than what it's been. I need to grow it much, much higher. So there's many steps involved in doing that, and I want to share my journey with you because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are in the same position as me, where either it's a secondary income and you want to take it to a full-time income, or you're just not earning enough and you want to earn more, or whatever your situation is. There's a lot of people like me that need more money. And I want to show you the steps that I'm taking to actually really overhaul my business. But step 1 was cleaning this place up. And honestly, if you have got piles of unlisted inventory that are in your space and you're tripping over them and you're spending time organizing and reorganizing all the time, And instead of actually spending your time doing the productive things that are making you money, like think about the things that are going to make you money in this business. Listing your items. Like instead of having hundreds and hundreds of dollars, some people thousands of dollars sitting in piles and boxes, get it listed so you can actually sell it and make you money. It's costing you money while it's sitting in your unlisted inventory piles. Guys, let me show you the warehouse. Let's go back to when I opened the door 4 months ago when I came back from America, and I'll show you what it looked like. Let's rewind. You ready for what it looks like now? Let's do it. First area over here, if you remember guys, the floor space was absolutely piled high with boxes. Boxes and boxes of unlisted inventory. Not only was there boxes all over the floor, but this bookcase was full to the brim, triple stacked with unlisted inventory. So I would like you to know now that this shelf here is the only pile of unlisted inventory that I have in here. And the only reason that I have this is this shelf is basically being used for set building. So the reason why those books aren't listed is not just because they're sitting there as unlisted death pile. They're sets of books that I'm building. See, like you can see here, I'm building the True Blood series. So when I get these books, and then when I get enough to list them as like the actual set, then what I will do, or sometimes I will get like an author and I'll wait till I've got a certain amount of them and then I'll bundle them up. That is what that shelf is for. This shelf here, it's all listed already. These ones, empty shelves waiting to fill. These up here have been listed. They are some slides that I got. Now I will say on the top shelf there, that is unlisted inventory, but that is all CDs with the occasional DVD. So the reason I haven't listed the CDs, and so I've got quite a lot of them, is that I'm waiting to buy a disc cleaning machine. A lot of those discs up there, they're not actually saleable at this point because they need to be run through one of the disc resurfacing machines. I think that's what you call them. And I actually am buying one, and I'm buying an Eco Pro 2, but it's not in stock in Australia at this stage. And when it comes into Australia, when I'm buying one, then I will start listing the CDs that I've got, because I've got quite a lot of them, but there's no point me putting them into my store now if there's scratched discs that I can't surface properly. Now, Tom's got like multiple disc cleaning machines. So if I sell the occasional disc and I need to clean it, I can go and borrow off him. But I don't want to add hundreds of CDs to my store and not have that tool to be able to clean them. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's an inconvenience for me to go over and borrow that off Tom. That's not fair. That's not fair on him. It's wear and tear on his machines. That's not how I work. So the CDs are another niche that I would like to add into my store, because the process for CDs is very much the same as the books. I photograph it on the same station. It's going to be easy for me to store on shelves. So the actual process for doing CDs is pretty easy. And while I'm outsourcing books, it's easy to be quickly checking over the CD section as well. And well, it helps that I have a boyfriend who is the #1 CD seller in Australia on eBay. So, you know, I am being trained up very well by, you know, a number one seller. So why would I not add that knowledge that I'm learning and that niche into my store? So, yeah, exclude the CDs. I feel like they deserve an exclusion. Okay. So down here, we've got book aisle 1. Now, what you might also notice is this aisle has been extended. So I have added another 2 shelves here on the end. I could also probably go another one here, but I really want to keep this space as free as I can, because when I'm not going to lie, I'm still going to be bringing in large hauls of books, but they're going to be processed much faster and they're going to be processed differently. So I still need to have a little bit of a floor space here. And because I've got the big door as well, we can actually open this up and I can bring a pallet load in here as long as I leave room for it. But as soon as I add another shelf, it comes out to here, and it doesn't leave me a whole lot of room between the door for coming in and bringing in books, and also just even for my shipping. Like after I've done my shipping in a day, I put it here ready to go out the door. So unless I really, really had to, I don't want to extend this any further. But I am really glad that I added another 2 shelves there, and you can see they're not full. There's still got room on these shelves, and there's still some room down here as well on this one. Okay, let's go to this area next. This is my packing station. Now, what I've done differently here is I've pulled this in just a little bit closer. It was a little bit more this way. I've moved it a little bit closer. So basically, when I'm doing my packing here, I don't have to step that little bit further to reach the books. I've got that extra, it's just a little bit closer to me while I'm packing. Now, the other thing I've done is I've opened this up. So now I've got a walkway through here. So before, what I had was this shelf was pushed up against here. So it blocked this off. And in this corner down here, now the shelf is pushed down here, but in the corner there before was a stack of boxes of unlisted inventory, which you guys probably didn't even know what it was. All that has been listed. So the packing bench, this is working really well. Having that walk through has been amazing. That's actually really, instead of having to come around here and walk around, to just be able to go through and get something. You know, it's amazing how when you shorten the amount of steps you have to take into a process, how much it actually gives you back a whole lot of time. So that's been fantastic. The rest of my shipping station hasn't really changed. The only thing that I've done is that I've bought some new bins here. So I used to have the round bin that was like this. And the problem with these round bins is they're very low. So while I was packing my orders, I'd be reaching down into this bin, or, it wasn't at the right level that it needed to be. I've been able to find these skinny bins, which are fantastic. And what is even better is they slot. They can slide in here between the metal on my packing bench. They're quite sturdy. And that way now when I'm doing my packing the orders, I'm almost sliding the stuff in here. There's no dipping down. There's no bending my back in any weird way. It's just the packing label comes off, or the sticky label on these comes off, straight into the bin. So I'm absolutely loving the bin. I bought a few of these bins, and I've put one down this side as well. And I've also put one here again that's attached to my bench. I probably could put this one up here as well, but I tend to, while I'm doing my photography, I tend to quite often have my mini shrink wrap and my scissors and stuff here when I'm doing my bundles. So I've kind of put this one here as an extra, but when I'm working, I tend to find that I'm using this bin when I'm doing my photography. So the bins are up on that level. That's actually made a huge difference. Now down the bottom, you're probably looking at these boxes and going, I spot some boxes. Again, these are full of some CDs, all heavy metal CDs. This was a fantastic haul that I bought, and it's going to be worth a lot of money. But again, I'm waiting to go through it because I know that there's discs in there that will need resurfacing. So on this shelf here, I've basically put some tubs with, you know, things that I use all the time. My tape measure, my hammer for building more shelves, a cloth. I've got some, you know, supplies down in here. And this is just where I'm noticing, like, if something needs to be rechecked or something after I'm photographing it. It's like a working station. And here, up here, this is also, I use these little numbers when I'm doing the bundles. So I've kept these in here. I've also kept my shrink wrap and scissors here, so I can either grab it when I'm on my packing bench or I can grab it here when I'm on the photography station. I need to buy some more. And I've just made it sure here, at the end of every day when I'm doing my picking and packing, I'm resetting. My eraser goes here, my sticky tape goes here, my pens are here. That way the next time that I'm doing my photography, my pick and pack, everything has been reset. Now this bench before was filled with unlisted inventory. It was just piled in there, stacked in there. It was books that didn't fit on the floor, and so I just filled up those thinking, yep, I'll get to those books one day. And I never did. So that was an absolute mess. And I couldn't believe how dusty some of those books were getting as well. So what I've actually done is I've actually put some board on the end here just to make sure it kind of eliminates some of the dust that might come in here from underneath the door, because I am in an industrial area. And one thing I want to do as well is I do want to put some of those wood boards down this side just to help those ones as well. But this area, now, I've put these little black tubs in here. This is unlisted inventory, but it's inventory that needs to be bundled. So this is kind of from big hauls that I get, and they're books that aren't worth me listing. A lot of them are cookbooks, but at least it's organized. And now if I get another one that comes in, it's under the same theme. Let's say this one's barbecue, right? It's a barbecue cookbook. See, I've got multiple of them. But what that means is now if I get a few more barbecue comes in, then I can just go here, look at the things and decide if I've got enough to make a bundle. Okay, so just looking at my computer area here, over here, bin. This is full of reusable shopping bags for when I go thrifting. I've got my beanie because it gets cold here. And then I've got my computer. The only thing I would like to change about this is that at some stage I would like to actually buy a stand-up desk, because I don't do my listing or anything here. I do my listing from home. So I'm normally, when I'm coming here, it's to do my shipping labels, and I'm kind of like on the go a lot. So I really do think that a stand-up tall desk would suit me better. So that's something that I'm going to look at in the next, I don't know, couple of months. Eventually I'll end up with a stand-up desk there. Okay, so one of the biggest changes is this area. Now, if you remember, this was full of pallets. Just pallets and pallets of box. I had a really large Mills and Boon haul with thousands and thousands of Mills and Boon books. And that has been one of the hardest tasks for me to do this whole last 3 months. Can you see all the Mills and Boon here that are bundled up that I have photographed? They are like, they're everywhere. There's more here. Like, they're over there. I'm so sick of Mills and Boon. Honestly, I'm sick of doing the Mills and Boon, but my goodness, do they sell for me. I feel like I've almost become an expert at Mills and Boon. So I know the ones that I would buy again in the future, and I certainly know the ones that I will never buy again. If you don't know what Mills and Boon is, it's like maybe the Americans, they would call them Harlequin or Silhouette. They're like very small romance novels. Now, this is my trolley that I use when I go out to book fairs. It's got a couple of baskets and stuff that go on it. But the other thing I really do, that's something I need to change. I need to get another, a power. I need to change where this needs to be plugged in over here. It doesn't actually impact me when I photograph. I never trip on it or anything, but it is a little bit of a nuisance, and I should plug it over here. So I do need to get some kind of different power bank just to tidy that up a little bit more. But basically what I do with my trolley is I move it really close here when I'm taking my photos, and I have the photos here in a pile. I mean, I'll have the books here in a pile waiting to photograph. So it just means that I'm doing the least amount of steps possible. And when you do the least amount of steps, You save time. So my unlisted books are here. They're being photographed here. Then they're going onto the trolley here, and then I can wheel the trolley around with a bulk load of them and put them on the shelf that they're all going to. So I really love having the trolley, and the fact that it can just sit in here, except for this annoying thing, which normally I don't even really notice, but because I'm showing you on the camera, of course I notice it. Okay, I've got one little box down here of random items. All these items are listed. It is shoes, some toys, I don't know, a couple of Build-A-Bears or something random that is in here. These were items that I had bought when I went squirrel-brained, I guess. They've been sitting in the death pile, and as part of my cleanup for the death pile, it wasn't just a cleanup of the books, it was a cleanup of everything. So they all are listed in that box there, and I've kept it all to that one box, and once it's gone, probably never be filled again. Okay, so this is amazing. This was just full of pallets. You can see that I have added in, I think I had one shelf here. So maybe I've added in another 3 shelves here, 2 shelves there, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then with the 2 over there, it means I've added in an extra 10 shelves while I've been doing this. And you can see these shelves, 10 shelves, they're not full to the brim, but some of them are. And you can see that that is how much I've been listing over these last few months. Not only cleaning it up, but putting it away and getting it all listed. So this is fantastic. It's a really nice width here. It's a little bit nicer than the width between these shelves in here. That was a little bit narrow. I should have made them all a little bit wider, but anyway, it is what it is. And this is, you know, this is perfect. So I'm really, really happy. That was a massive task. I don't know if you remember the photo of me just sitting there drowning in books. I'll show it here. But like, this is fantastic. So yeah, I've got my aisles. Now let me just explain what this is, because you probably saw it there and you went, I spot a pile of death pile. Basically, one of the thrift stores that I go to has like a deal where if I take them a book, their books are normally $2. If I take them another book, they give me the books for $1. So basically I can take in books that don't suit my needs, and then I can go and buy other books that do suit my needs for $1 instead of $2. So this particular shop where I do this, it's not open all the time. It's only open a couple of times a month. So I have to kind of build them up there, and then when we go out to that store, I take the books that are here, and so that's the purpose of that little pile. But it's out of the way. It's not confused with any other unlisted inventory piles. By sitting it here at the back of this shelf, it's not in my way. It's not a hindrance, and I know exactly what it's there for. So it's not a death pile, but it is like a pile, I guess. Over here, I probably need to find another solution for this, but this is basically 2 of my big like camping chairs. They probably can go at the front of the warehouse, but sometimes we have like barbecues out here at the warehouse, and these are just like fold out chairs that I take out there. So they're just being stored there. They're not hindering my view. I do have a whiteboard that needs to be hung up and a couple of signs, so they're also sitting there. But apart from that, everything else you can see is beautifully done. I'll also just say that this was piled high with death pile as well, boxes and boxes. That was like one of my little hidden nooks that you probably didn't know about as well. Oh my goodness, I had books everywhere. It's so clean. It feels so good. I'm now being so productive, and I'm feeling very, very proud of myself. So as you can see, there's no hidden piles. Like everything, I'm fully out here, fully transparent. There is no hidden boxes in here. Every single box of unlisted inventory has been dealt with, except for those CDs. And guys, there's no way of how to do it. Like I just had to choose an area. Like when I did it, the first thing I did was I did the packing benches. They were the first things I cleaned. Then I moved down to this area. Then once this area was dealt with, I moved on to that area. And it was just a matter of going box by box and step by step. And even the boxes that I knew that were coming up, and there was a few boxes, these ones in the corner just next to my photography station, they were magazines, and I did not want to deal with those magazines. I truly didn't. I was like dreading them. They'd literally been in my death pile for 2 years. And the reason I was dreading them is with magazines, they sell better when they're in the correct order of the magazine, the date of the magazine. So when you're trying to bundle up a lot of magazines, you got to sort them all out, and you got to look for all the ones that were like May, June, July of 2017. And like it's little writing, and I've got poor eyesight now, I'm getting old. And I was just dreading doing those magazines. Like I have to sort them into date order. Then also the magazines are heavy. I have to weigh them all to make sure none of them are going to go over the weight limits. So there was like a whole process before I even got to photographing them, sorting them, dating them, weighing them, bundling them, photographing them, wrapping them. They're heavy. I was dreading those magazines. Guys, I can't even tell you how many hundreds of dollars I've made from selling those particular magazines. Like it was ridiculous. They were like ridiculous. Hundreds, probably nearly $1,000 I have made from just listing those magazines. Ridiculous. So guys, moral of the story. If I can do it, you can do it. If you've got an unlisted death pile or an unlisted money pile or whatever you want to call it, whatever helps your mindset. If you want to call it the money pile, call it the money pile. To me, it's not a money pile if it's not making you money. This is now a money pile because this is all listed. When it was sitting in those boxes, that was not a money pile. That was a dead pile. Like there was no money in that. This is listed for sale now. People are buying this stuff every single day. I'm pulling stuff off the shelf because it's buying. That is a money pile, right? Don't get the two confused. I know sometimes we try and change the wording so it's not negative. And I don't like negative thoughts or negative things either. I like to stay positive and have a strong mindset. But sometimes if something is holding us back in our business, then it is a negative. and we need to fix that negative solution and turn it into a positive. Just like my meals and boon. Guys, I'm really, really excited about the new year. I'm really excited just for everything. I just feel so good. The weight is lifted off me. The warehouse is fresh and clean. It smells like eucalyptus over there with the diffuser burning. It's beautiful. And it just feels good in here. I want to come in here and work now. In the mornings, I come in here and pack my orders. It takes me nearly half the time because I'm not stepping on stuff. I've got space to put on my benches. My shipping process moves faster because I'm not moving stuff around just to be able to put the book somewhere that I've just sold. Everything is running smoother because the warehouse is organized. And one thing I learnt, especially when I went and visited Technsports in his warehouse, there was not a thing out of place. Everything had a home. Just like in your own home at home. Home. When your kitchen is clean and you got to cook dinner, it's so much easier than if you've got piles of dishes and your bench has no space and you've got to chop stuff up and you don't have a chopping board and you've got to wash the knife and you've got to wipe down the bench. Like, it takes cooking the dinner twice as long than if you've got a nice clean kitchen, right? Think of it in those terms. Your warehouse is the same space. Your business needs to be kept clean and tidy. And truly your business will run so much more smoothly with a clean and tidy space. So guys, this was step one in the, what can we call it? The overhaul Mel's business. Step one completed. Let's go to step two next time. Bye.